Oh, good afternoon, folks. Hey, it's Shooter. Hey, just going to go over hump day here and risk on, risk off, just quick. Disclosures, of course, past success does not guarantee future performance. Starting with the S&P, we came off here a little bit, so I've got the first golden box down here, right around that 462 is where the count says we go. I'm not trimmed all this up yet because it hasn't broken. We really need to break this sort of resistance line that we have to the low side of the channel. We need to break below this for me to get more bearish. So, if I come in and just throw a red speed line there and throw an alert on that. Mouse is sticking today. Lord have mercy. Okay, quick. Let me stay on pace here. Okay, so we closed below 455.47. Then we open up to the second box. Technically, a close below the 78.6 on my count, which is 459.65, which is a little bit lower than that. Or a little higher than that. That is my mark to look for continuation towards my second box down. Now, these two boxes were not here on my prior look. So we failed to get up above. Basically, there's a broken counts up there that's now broadened. It's now a leading diagonal up there. It still says it's going to finish up around 486. So I'm not going to exclude it. Let me jump over to the Qs. Now, I had risk off going into this week. We got a little risk on and, sort of flat, sort of pushed a little bit, but, we really didn't get going. We got rejected. I'm still thinking we come back down. We're below my next entry long at 387 now. So this box that I faded last week, is still viable if we break down, get below this speed line here. I'm going to go ahead and throw an alert on there so we can see exactly where that is as well. So a close below 370, 337, breaks that speed line so that, trend support would indicate that we could push lower. I don't have any major counts below there because I think this does hold, but we'd have to refactor off of this one as our high if that was the case. But I don't believe the wave count gets broken. I think this is just a little flush. So let's jump over to the NASDAQ, or excuse me, the Dow. I really haven't cleaned this up at all. On the short time frame, it says we're already done it, this 363.43. But I jump out to the daily and I do a scan on that time frame and it says we're not done. It gives me a 4 down here at 354.35. So, we're getting the changes and the counts again, count changed to the upside and we were pushing a little bit. Now we've got some downside exposure here. We had this gap down here. We could gap down tomorrow and head for that 4. So, it's sort of an unknown to me, but I think we're going to stay in this range. I haven't changed my range high or low. If I come out and look at that on the weekly, where was my range high? It's way up there. Is it supposed to be way up there? Or did it not move it? Lord have mercy. Let's come out for a second, go a little bit further. Where is it? It's up there at 474. Where did that count come from? Catching up here, folks. There it is. All right. So it's on a cycle wave. Excuse me. Let me look. Make sure I'm correct. Yes. So the cycle wave is the larger channel. Now, those are obviously dominant trends. Quite often we drift from those. If I put that confined channel in there, the reason I don't show that most of the time is it's a little too tight. But, so I would think that we, maybe we're in, or maybe we go to that 4 and then we get going again. So that was just sort of my thought on the Dow. We did put in an all-time high and came right off of that, just barely. So I would say it's constructive to the upside still. When I look at that, RSI does not indicate that we had a divergent high here. So we had, there was a 1, there was a 2, and there was a 3. So we've had a 4. So chances are we get a 5. Again, 3 5s or 8s are very common. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we look at the count structure going through, the waves, that implies that we're going to have some continuation once we found a bottom. So, my next entry long on this, I had it way out here, next year actually. And that's because we could just chop in this range. I don't know that we get up and out. However, I was not expecting that kind of push here. So that it hasn't changed my opinion yet, but it could. So, all right, jumping over to IWM. Now it looks like we're going to come and put in about a 216 here on the 90-minute. I just dropped down there because I use that to judge my ranges. And on top of that, I have a C down here that is a little lower than that. So actually, we're going to come back down. That's sort of a broken C, by the way. That's a really confined, that's a wave 2 on a 5-wave up. I'm going to roll that channel in there and just update this as I'm right here. That would be my thought. So we blew past our next entry long to the upside there. So when I shot out, I put it out in the room that I was closing out my IWMs, hopefully you guys took that and didn't stick with it. So I would say that our next entry long is down at 215.78. So I'm going to pull both of these triggers off. Well, I'm with you here. I'm just going to remove them. Only because it's sort of negated at this point. We blew past our stop, broke the 5-wave. That's a broken count. So we were in this 5-wave up and it morphed into something else, and failed, even though the count was up here at 238, it still became a 5-wave, but it was just a tighter 5-wave. That's all. If I was looking for a stop at this point, my stop would be way the heck down here, actually. I would use the floor of this pattern right here, the wick, if I can get it to stick. Right here. That would be my stop to the upside from here. So 205.50 way down here, because that structure should hold. This base right here. And we have a nice retest. That's all that consolidation we went through. Clearly, we got rejected up here. I'm going to just delete that because it doesn't really apply here at this point. We'll throw a new one up next weekend when we look at it. Just working through what I see here. So, just going to move these counts over based on the wave over. So we should actually get more upside with this, according to that count, which is good. So that's constructive. Drop another label over here on this one, just so you guys see, looking for a 216 and then a 215 on the second row, because it does this stair-stepping motion down. So, all right, let's take a look at TLT real quick. Well, thinking that 419 hit it and rejected it, that's good enough for government work. Overshot the counter, where we're overshooting it to the downside here. Just run a quick scan. Well, let me change my time frame. I'm doing it just live with you guys here. So see what it's going to tell me. Yeah, so we're going to move it down based on that breakdown. So, it overshot our next entry long. So hopefully you guys did not take a position long there yet. Did not hold like we thought it would. So obviously we need to change our perspective. Let's come out to the daily. So, my stop at this point, it's broke the speed line. We closed below that with a little wick. Hold on a second. I want to put a fib on there. I do not have the downside measured there. We're just going to measure off this formation, see where we go. Bear with me. Works in progress. Method to my madness, folks. This is how my brain works. Is putting a couple boxes in here. So, I would say that we're heading towards, could come down into that golden box down here on a retrace. So that is a likely target down there. I do not think it goes below there. You know, I think that is that A is going to hold. You know, we got that B way up there that we got definitely we got rejected here in the center line. You know, so I don't know how accurate that count is can be. You know, it's not broken. It does not break until we close below the A. So as far as I'm concerned, we're still looking at that ABC channel right there like that to the downside. So I would say that our target is right around in that range of that 160.18. However, the count says it's not going that far. So sorry, changed the wrong label. But that's pretty much what I got here on risk on, risk off. So I think we continue down to that 141 from here. I'm not sure that I would get long because this whole structure to me is broken a little bit. You know, this plateau, higher high, higher high, it's broken. So we should probably put in a lower low, I would think, down here below it. I would think the golden box gets filled. So until next time, great trading, folks.